When will the new stimulus checks come from President Biden? This month of January or maybe next month of February? Keep watching, everybody, because there's a lot of news going on in Congress and there's a ton of developments around the fourth stimulus check, and I want to be sure to keep you guys up to date on this. So here it is. Democrats are starting off the new year with hopes of at least saving President Biden's spending plan. Joe Manchin and some Republicans thrashing a bill. But still, momentum for the Build Back Better Act crumbled at the end of December. That's when Manchin did withdraw his support from the bill on Fox News. That's where he told everybody that he did not support President Biden's Build Back Better bill. But the West Virginia Democrat has spoken with President Biden since then and has now changed his mind and said he could hope to support the newer and smaller version of this bill, which actually might not include stimulus checks, folks. Manchin has one concern with the piece of legislation, and that's the expansion of the child tax credit payment. For some reason, he doesn't want to extend it, even though it proved to be a great benefit to the American people. So as well as some provisions intended to combat climate change, Joe Manchin also said he does not support it. He's also insisted the measure should go through the Senate committees in order to examine its economic effect and focus on rolling back some of the former president's tax cuts. Now, Joe Manchin actually told West Virginia local news that the only reason I even voted to get the reconciliation was to fix the taxes, so that everyone paid their fair share. This, folks, is what Joe Manchin's focused on. He's focused on fixing taxes instead of passing out stimulus checks. But still, Democrats are beginning to pick up the pieces of the wreckage, with the 2022 midterm elections in sight. Some people have even floated the possibility of breaking up the package into smaller pieces and smaller bills that would be easier to pass. Some Senate Democrat, Ben Cardin, also said that is a strategy decision that's being negotiated, and that the Republicans are open to a way to reach the finish line, because they want to make it as comprehensive as possible because the needs are just there. Now, the good news is that Chuck Schumer is also pushing vote for a higher and even bigger spending package this month, but it's pretty much guaranteed to fail without Joe Manchin's support. The $1.7 trillion piece of legislation will include universal pre-K, paid family leave, measures to combat climate change, and also Medicare and Medicaid expansions. Now, this would also have extended the boosted child tax credits for just another year. Democrats have also proposed paying for the bill by establishing an ultra-millionaires tax and imposing a 15% levy on the income that wealthy companies report to shareholders. But since President Biden has become president just over a year ago, Congress has approved a staggering $3.1 trillion in federal spending. But the nation's debt level is already at a historic high of $29 trillion and is also on track to surpass $30 trillion. Schumer also said that the Senate is going to debate and consider changes to the Senate rules. Now, the vote has a very slim chance, everybody, like I said, of succeeding. That comes as Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema still don't have full support behind the bill. Schumer wrote in the letter that over the coming weeks, the Senate will once again consider how this union will confront the historic challenges facing the democracy. Now, this comes as key senators have continued their meetings to discuss potential Senate rules and changes over the holiday recess. Nonetheless, folks, the aide also said more meetings on the topic will also happen this week when lawmakers return to D.C. So, hopefully President Biden, the Democrats, and Republicans can get the stimulus check sent out before the end of the year. Now, if you guys believe that President Biden should do a better job in sending out the stimulus checks, then tell me in the comments down below. As always, everybody, thank you again for your support.
I thank you for your chat remarks saying what a beautiful way to start the program. I agree with these young singers singing about the beauty of our great country. We could never say that enough. I particularly love the verse that says, "Oh, beautiful for patriots' dreams that see beyond the years." That's what we have to be, patriots that see beyond the years. Has always been important in our country from its start. It has to be as we go forward. Of course, as a San Franciscan, I always like the next line, "Thine alabaster cities gleam undimmed by human fears." And there it is, San Francisco right out the window. But right now we're joined by people across the country from sea to shining sea. And I wish you a happy new year. I thank you all for your courage and fortitude getting through the COVID crisis. And thank you for your messages, giving us a clue as to what you would like to hear us talk about today and as we go forward. Let's consider this a launch of 2022, a year that's going to be one where we show the public that Democrats deliver, that we show the difference between the parties as we go forward to hold the gavel for the people for the children. I'm very delighted to be joined today by a very special guest. Zoe Lofgren, Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, is Madam Chair in many respects. She's chair of the House Administration Committee. If I need anything on Capitol Hill, I have to go to Zoe Lofgren, and so will all the other members. She's considered the mayor of Capitol Hill. She's also the chair of the Immigration Subcommittee of the Judiciary Committee. She also is a leading member of the January 6th Select Committee and commands a great deal of respect in the Congress. As chair of House Appropriations, she is dealing with two issues that you all have expressed an interest in. One, the voter protection bills that are before the Senate now, as well as how we are dealing with COVID in the Congress and in the country from our perspective in the House of Representatives. We'll be hearing from her in a moment. But first, I just want to give you a report apropos of the request that you have made. Zoe will talk about the Voting Rights Act, but voter protection bills, as well as Voting Rights Act. But please know that there is nothing more important that Congress has to do than to pass this legislation. Zoe has been there from the start. As I say, she'll address it, but I just want to put it into perspective of everything that we do is affected by how elections are, the sanctity of the vote is respected, how voters have the ability to go to the polls in a way that it has equity and respectful of the position and the neighborhood in which they live, as well as how we stop the suppression of the vote, as well as the nullification of elections, as well as we honor grassroots voices with matching funds, as well as how we snuff out big, dark, special interest money there to suffocate the airwaves. That's the outside of it. The inside of it, we'll hear from Zoe. BBB, Build Back Better. Aren't we proud of our president? President Joe Biden has really brought transformative legislation to the fore in this past year. I think it's really important for Democrats to brag about what we have been doing, and we have to do so in a more forceful way, a more unified way. Under his leadership, President Biden has already produced 6 million jobs. His predecessor was producing 30,000 jobs a month. He's already produced 6 million jobs with his initiatives. They were there. What we did at the beginning, the rescue package, which introduced the child tax credit, initiatives to put